Hello?
Did you know that you've put Crobat VMAX as the best competitive card from Shining Fates?
Ah, Siri, I'm actually just doing some research for the intro for that video. Can I call you back?
Answer the question.
Well, I do think that Crobat VMAX is the best card from Shining Fates.
What about Rusted Sword?
Well, you know what? I don't have time for this. Can I talk to you about this later?
I can't believe it. You always do this.
Well, how about I prove it then? Welcome back everyone to more from the Sableyes. I'm Mitch, and today I'm going to show you exactly why Crobat VMAX is the best card from Shining Fates. So here's the deck list. It is down in the description if you want to play along. Also, whilst you're there, like the video, that would be greatly appreciated. We have Crobat VMAX with Stealth Poison, Dark and Colorless, deals 70 damage, poisons your opponent's Pokemon, and then retreats to the bench. We can switch into Altaria, which obviously doesn't take damage from V Pokemon or GXs, or we can switch into our copies of Lillie's Pokédoll, which doesn't give up prizes when it's knocked out. We can also increase the amount of poison damage that is being done by using Toxicroak, which increases the poison damage by an extra 2, which is fantastic. And then towards the end of the game, we can finish off Pokemon that we've already hit with Max Cutter for 180 damage. It's an incredibly good card. Let's see it in action. Okay, we'll get a start here. One of the weird things about this Crobat deck is... Oh, good. We got a quick ball. That's so good. Okay, one of the weird things about this Crobat deck is that we kind of need to play Crobat before other decks would normally play Crobat. So, like, we attach U-turn board, and we should have played down the Croagunk there. Why did I not play down the Croagunk? I was too busy talking about what was going to happen. We throw down the Swablu, we throw down the Croagunk, but most decks would try and put the energy onto their attackers before drawing cards. But since Crobat is our attacker, we have to play it first. Now we should have another card because I should have played the Croagunk down, but I was too busy trying to explain myself. What are we playing up against here? It looks like Zacian of some description. This could be ADP Zacian, or it could be the new Turbo Zacian variant that plays the new sword, which we see in the discard pile. Rusted Sword means that Zacian's attacks do an extra 30 damage, which is pretty gosh darn strong. We've actually got a really, really good hand here. We can attach to Crobat, we can put the U-turn board on the Swablu, and then if we find a VMAX, we can actually start attacking this turn. And we do find one. We haven't found a supporter yet, which is kind of a bit strange. And we also don't have anything that we really want to switch into. But we can at least get the poison off now. Let's go into our second Crobat. They've got no energy on the board. Hopefully this is enough for us. But yeah, we just keep switching in and out here and hit and run our opponent. We just chip them and then run away. Once we get the Toxicroaks in play, you'll see how quickly the damage starts escalating. They obviously have taken 80 damage onto their Crobat here with poison, and they're going to retreat out of it. But could you imagine if I was dealing an extra 4 damage counters every turn? That would be pretty gosh darn impressive. Okay, Capture Energy, not really what I want to play. I think I want to attach to the VMAX here. Then I can Quick Ball, I'll get rid of a Dark, and then find another Crobat. I probably should have gotten rid of the Capture Energy, actually. Let's use the Crobat, draw up to 6. We found Altaria, which is perfect. Now we have the pivot. So this is what we do. We play our Stealth Poison into the active, we use Stealth Poison, and then head into Altaria. This means that we are constantly getting damage on the active whilst forcing our opponent to have Gust, right? And it creates this really, really cool situation where lots of decks need to draw cards to deal extra damage to knock out Crobat. So like this one here can do 260 damage. Most decks need to draw a lot of cards. And therefore, if they Gust us out, they're not going to draw the cards, which means they're not going to be able to get the knockouts that they want. We don't have a huge amount to work with here. We do have not an Altaria, a Toxicroak though, which is good. We need to do some extra damage to this Zamazenta, which is obviously soaking up some of the damage from our Crobat. We don't even need to go into the Crobat here because we can't poison them again. So we can just pass. This might be a matchup where we need to power Altaria up, to be honest. Maybe I should have attached to the active rather than the second VMAX. That's okay. That is okay. I've just got one too many energy on the Crobat VMAX on the bench. I probably should have attached one of those energies to the other Crobat VMAX, and then I would have been good to go with Altaria. So maybe that's the case. They're going to remove the poison from their Zamazenta, so wasting a switch effectively, which is really, really good for us. And just an Intrepid Sword, so we're actually going to be able to get a knockout, which is great. We're going to be able to deal 70 to this Crobat and poison it, which is really, really good. I'm going to put the capture... I think we put it on the Altaria just in case that Zamazenta comes forward again. We stealth poison, we deal 70, we retreat into the Altaria, and then the poison will knock this Crobat out. It's pretty efficient. And not only that, we get a couple of prizes. A Toxicroak is perfect, and a Marnie is even better. So now we're going to be dealing 50 damage with poison every turn. And obviously Marnie will reduce their hand size, which will be good for us. If they don't have anything that can deal with this Altaria, we could just be in a position where they are forced to get Gust every turn of the game to try and win. And they're going to find it really, really hard to take prizes doing that. Just an Intrepid Sword, so nothing huge happening. We're going to be able to Marnie this massive hand away from our opponent. We get another U-turn board, which is kind of fine. We just attach that to whatever, and then Marnie. And yeah, we're in an incredible spot. We've got another Dark Energy. We could attach that to the Altaria. I think we just retreat for the moment. Do we attach the energy? I think we do. And then we can Stealth Poison. We go into the Altaria. And then we're in a fantastic spot, right? We're in an absolutely brilliant position. They can't knock out the Altaria. Next turn we can attack with Speed Dive for 60 into this Zamazenta. If they don't switch it out, we'll be dealing 50 damage every turn with Poison. It's as simple as that. Bucket is up against the door. No, I'm not going to let you in after last time. You stole the show from me. That's okay. Alright, research. They go looking for the switch. Do they find the switch? Get a Quick Ball and an Oranguru, so that could potentially help them find it. It could also help them get energy onto their Zacian with Intrepid Sword, so that could be a potential means of powering up their Zacian. They do have the Zamazenta with 2 energy on it, and another switch, which is annoying. If they get another energy on this Zamazenta, then they can obviously start discarding energy off of my Altaria, which would be bad. So I may need to find another Dark Energy here. We can evolve into another Crobat and then retreat yet again. This Berserker has 120 HP, so again, we're just going to Stealth Poison. This will knock it out. 70 plus 50 is 120, and we will go into the Altaria. I'm going to slowly chip away at our opponent's board state until eventually we either win the game or our opponent finds 4 Gusts in a row, and that's the way that this deck is just going to work. And it's going to be incredibly difficult for them to do that. Turbo Patch is a Tails. They attach to the Zamazenta. They will be able to discard the capture energy off of the Altaria. They won't be able to damage it though. So there's the attachment and a Marnie. Okay. Let's see what we get off of these 4 cards. Nothing amazing. We have Boss and Marnie ourselves, which is good. We probably play the Marnie here, to be honest, because we're just going to do some poisoning. There's a Capture Energy. We could put that on the Altaria, but we'll just get knocked. It'll just get removed. Let's Marnie and see if we can find ourselves a Dark. We cannot. Okay. That's unfortunate, but it's fine. We will Stealth Poison. Let's keep putting that pressure on the Zamazenta. Head back into the Altaria. If they don't have a bunch of Gust, then we win. We're just going to keep doing this until eventually they either start attacking with like Oranguru or we win the game. So it's as simple as that. Now, other decks can obviously deal with this strategy quite comfortably without using 4 Gust. Decks like Center Scorch have Volcanion, which can deal with the Altaria, but that's when you start using Lillie's Pokédoll instead, right? You put Lillie's Pokédoll in play, and then you just retreat into that, and they can knock that out. It's fine. They're going to Boss's Orders. Okay, so they're going to try and damage the Crobat here. Fair enough. So they've got their first hit on our main Crobat. We're going to get a big hit on this Zacian. We don't really need to do anything here. I think we just Stealth Poison, right? They've only got 2 cards in their hand. I think, yeah, we just Stealth Poison. This is going to deal 120 damage, which is half hitting a Zacian. We go into the Altaria. So decks like Scorch can knock out Altaria with their Volcanion. Decidueye can obviously beat this deck quite comfortably by playing the special grass energy that removes special conditions. So it's not like a perfect situation, but there are other ways you can run it. I know some people have been looking into playing it with Galarian Wheezing. There's a lot of different stuff that you can move in and out of, and that's the joy with hit and run decks, right? If you can hit your opponent for a decent amount of damage, which this deck can do, like even the base 70 plus 10 for poison is good for a hit and run deck. Even that into something another attacker perhaps could be really, really strong. So there's lots of potential with this deck, which is why I put it as number 1 on my best card from the Shining Fates set. We found boss off of the top deck, which means that we can go in and Stealth Poison, take the knockout on the Zacian, grab 2 more prizes, and now we are just 1 boss away from winning this game on prizes. Our opponent needs to do something pretty quickly. They're yet to take a prize, which means that we are way out in front, and we've just found a research off of the prizes there, which is good. But yeah, so it's not unbeatable, but I think it's the closest thing to a competitive deck that has come out in a while. Like, Colossal was good, but I think this deck is better. I think this deck is actually better than Colossal, which is genuinely impressive. And yeah, it's just got so much going for it. Like, it's really, really strong. I don't know what else to say. There's the victory. So we beat this this kind of aggro Zacian deck. They didn't even take a prize. Alright, we've got ourselves another game here, up against Eternatus this time. So we'll see how this goes. Anything could happen. Our hand is acceptable. We've got double Pokécom and Crobat and Energy. We are again going to struggle to draw cards here. A Capture Energy off of the top deck. I think we just play the Crobat down and Capture Energy to it. It's not ideal. Maybe we should have used the 2 Pokemon Communications to try and draw some stuff up. Let's just gust up this Crobat and hope that this is enough to buy us a turn. We probably should have used the Pokecoms to shuffle away the Crobat, get Crobat back, and then at least draw a couple of extra cards. Because if we'd done that, then we might have been in a better spot. But to be honest, I don't know that it's going to matter too much. Hopefully, this is enough. I'm just going to pull up my sleeves here. Hopefully this is enough to buy us some time. Just take a little sip of water there, seeing behind the scenes action. Man drinks water. News. We've bought ourselves a turn. Oh my goodness. And it's lucky that we have, because we've got nothing to do on our turn. So it's our opponent's turn now. Hopefully they don't do anything again. We've got an incredibly good chance of drawing Pokemon. So like, here's the thing. In this situation, we're actually in a really decent spot to try and draw cards that will help us. We've got Pokemon in hand, which means that Pokemon is draw, right? Because we can find a Crobat. We've got 4 research, 4 money. I think that's how many we have. So there's 8 cards there that we can draw. Plus, we can just naturally draw into a Crobat as well. Right? Quick Ball is an out. There's so many cards in our deck that are outs to draw right now. I'd say that 50% of our deck is a card that we can draw that can give us some more cards this turn. So, even though we are about to be a prize behind, we are in still a decent position. We kind of want to find... Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Let's just put a Crobat active now and hope that we get something. Okay, Pokemon, excellent. See, we found something. It's not the end of the world. So we will shuffle the Crobat in. We'll just get whatever, because we're going to shuffle that back as well. So we'll grab ourselves out Crobat V, because we need to have that. I also think we capture energy onto the Swablu and grab ourselves a Croagunk. All 3 of our Croagunk are in the deck, which is good. Now, Crobat, we need to find VMAX or Altaria. Or neither of them. We can Quick Ball away an energy here and grab ourselves another Croagunk. That sounds pretty good. Now, Marnie, I need you to find VMAX or Altaria. Please. Marnie's been good to me recently. Thank you very much. We can go for the Altaria. We can go for the VMAX. And sometimes all you need to do is ask. You can just stealth poison the VMAX here and we're good to go into the Altaria. That's perfect stuff. Now, unfortunately, they have Hooper down there, which I don't like, frankly, because they could just come in and do 90 damage to this Altaria. They need to find 2 Zigzagoons and an energy to do that. Hopefully that isn't the case. They're just going to boss. Okay, so they're choosing, instead of knocking the Altaria out, they want to take a knockout on Crobat. Now, from memory, they removed a lot of bosses early, I think. So they're going to be quite a few cards down here. That's their 3rd boss. That could be their last Gust in deck, which means that we could potentially find ourselves in a position where we can force our opponent to take more prizes than they are comfortable with, which I'm definitely happy to do. Dreadhead, alright. They either have one more boss left, or they have none. So Altaria is a really strong pivot now. We could theoretically Gust up the Hooper. That Pokédoll is actually a brilliant top deck. I think because we got the Pokédoll, we can probably afford to just stealth poison into the active and then go into the Pokédoll, because it means that their Hooper is less valuable to them now. And if they want to, they can stay in. They lose the E-turn this turn, which would be great. They probably won't. They'll probably retreat into... I'd say if they have to, they'll retreat into Yveltal. But that means they need to waste an attachment on Yveltal to knock out this Pokédoll. And it looks like that's going to be the case. And then next turn, unless we top deck like a Research or something, or a Marnie, we can boss up the Hooper, knock that out with Crobat, and go into Altaria. And we've got a really, really strong pivot from here. So I'm liking this position. Also drinking a lot of water because of the aforementioned bad throat. So please excuse that. Okay, so they've taken the knockout. We've got the Crobat. Ooh, Research. I think I want to play that. Oh, probably should have still done the boss play. We could have gotten rid of the Hooper. It's okay. We found another Pokédoll. We could also play down another Swablu if we want, but I'd rather leave that bench space open for another Crobat. I'll attach the Dark to the VMAX and then Stealth Poison, and hopefully this is enough pressure to force that Hooper into the active. Taking a prize. They can either attack it with the VMAX, or they can attack it with the Hooper. Or they can attack it with another V, so they can attack with the Eternatus V as well. That's also a potential option. But yeah, the Gust problem for them persists, which is good. They've actually gone into Zigzagoon here. Gone into another VMAX, so that's not coming forward. So we might see the Hooper, maybe? Or maybe they just elect to leave it here. Maybe that's what they choose to do. We'll wait and see. We will wait and see, ladies and gents. Quick ball for nothing. They're probably going to Crobat here. Yeah, for 4 cards. What are they looking for? Might notice that the light's just gotten a little bit darker on my face. It's because my cat has just stuck her head in front of the lamp. She's just gone into the lamp and she's been like, oh, no, what's in here? We're being marnied. Alright, you okay back there? Oh my goodness. Making shadows on the wall. We've been given a decent hand here. We can find ourselves a Crobat with this. I like this quite a lot. And the pressure that they're putting on, they're not putting on a huge amount of pressure here. Probably heard that. She's just jumped down, now she's going to look out the window. Okay, we've got a turn. We're going to Marnie as well. Let's Pokecom away the Crobat V. We can grab ourselves another Crobat. Actually, what we should have done there is we should have grabbed the Mew out, so we could have discarded it. But now we've got ourselves this weird situation where we kind of have stuff in deck that we don't want anymore, but that's okay. Crobat will find us 5 cards here. We're kind of happy with whatever happens in reality. Here's an energy, which is good. We've also got a Chaotic Swell, and I think we can just like Marnie, just to shuffle their hand and make things a little bit awkward for them. Boss and Research is really, really strong. We're in a great spot. We can just Stealth Poison the active. We'll knock that out, go into the Altaria, and force them to find Gust again. They still have that Hooper, which they haven't elected to use yet. Every turn that they don't use it is a turn that we get closer to winning the game, and we've found another Pokédoll, which is very, very good. Very, very good. She's having a nice time back. She's looking out the window. She just likes to be in the room. She likes to hear the noises. One day she'll jump into the back of frame and you'll all go, wow, there's a cat, unbelievable, that's amazing. Okay, we've just seen an assault, we're going to see an assault gate, that's fine. So this is actually fine by us, right? Because even if they knock out the Altaria, which they haven't done, so we now retreat into our VMAX, right? We've got Pokédolls and everything. We can attach here, we can play down the Pokédoll, we can retreat into the VMAX. And then we can. I think we're going to take the knockout on the Hooper. And we can hold our. Oh, do we research here? I think we hold the hand because if we research here, we lose the boss, right? So what we want to do is we want to put this Pokédoll in the active. We're going to knock out this Hooper. We go down to 3 prizes remaining, and unless my hand gets disrupted, next turn I am bossing out the VMAX with 210 damage on it, and I'm going to knock it out with Crobat VMAX's second attack, which deals 180 damage, which is really, really good for situations just like this. You can see why this card's so strong, right? It's really, really powerful. I genuinely think that this deck has a lot of potential. It's kind of easily countered by some decks. Lots of decks can play just other things, but like Pikarom doesn't really have an answer to this. Like it can tag bolt and stuff, but it doesn't really have a massive answer for it. Decks like Eternatus, they need to play the super aggro version, which I believe is going to get less popular once Battle Styles comes out, so that's good. Yeah, they have the other boss. They do have another one. Wow, okay. This is fine, because this game is over now, because they've not taken 3 prizes, they've only taken 2. So we just boss out the Eternatus on the bench and win. Max Cutter's going to do the job here. Beautiful work. Is that door about to close and slam on me? Max Cutter, here we go. Take the knockout. 3 prizes. We beat Eternatus. We beat Zacian. This deck is genuinely good. So a super, super strong deck list there, something that I think has genuine potential heading into the new standard format with Shining Fates Legal. It doesn't knock off any of our OG 150 challenge Pokemon there, that's okay. It's not a massive problem, but we do have some members to thank. In particular, thank you to Victor, Dadbod, Fernando, Connor, Dario, Yolo for the win, Azazel, Stephen, and Tomko for your support. If you want to join as a member, there's a little button down below that you can click. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time for more from the Sableyes. Bye.